Who Says You Can't? You Do, is the ultimate book for personal growth. It helps you find clarity within yourself, regardless of where you are in life. Who Says You Can't? You Do offers clear and actionable steps for developing a winner's mental state and ultimately to live a fuller and more successful life. I highly recommend this book. There are powers inside of you which, if you could discover and use, would make you everything you ever dreamed or imagined you could become. Why do you act the way you do? Why are some people highly motivated while others can't be bothered to get up and find the TV remote? What makes the difference in people's lives? How do you change your approach and outlook when the world seems to be crashing down around you? How do you create your life the way you want it? What are the strategies that have worked for the most successful people in history? How do you build a trusting relationship with yourself, one that will ensure you achieve what you set out for? The burning desire to search for these answers has become my life's passion, and the search has revealed to me an infinite source of intelligence and wisdom that waits patiently within every human. For so many individuals, that fighting spirit has dimmed over time, worn down by hardship, frustration, and disappointment. I am committed to showing people how to recapture that spirit. It's obvious that we all have visions of what we wish our life would be, but very few of us ever get to experience that life. Why not? Could it be reluctance to search deeper? Could it merely be not knowing how? Could it be psychological or emotional barriers that prevent our true powers from being displayed? The sad reality is that most people will go through life dreaming of another life that seems out of reach. The hope and faith in their own ability will be clouded by the stress and worry of everyday life. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. One important truth that I learned is that every experience happens for a reason, to lead us to a point where we are to make a decision, which will ultimately determine how we live out the rest of our life. Wherever you are in your life, whatever your achievements are, or whatever you have set up to conquer, you are reading this book to make that very decision. One that will give you a fulfillment that you never knew existed. One that will drive you to that level you want to reach. One that will offer that healthy lifestyle you dream about, attract that person you have searched for your whole life, or strengthen the relationship you are in. One that will guide you to achieve things you once thought impossible and master your financial state. One that will give you control of your emotions, break fears you thought would last forever, and propel you to wake up every day with an outlook on life that guides every step you take. A decision that ensures you hit the targets you aim for. Now, as much as this book is about how to make that crucial decision, it's also to create direction in your life, so that every decision will be made with the knowledge and strategies that are certain to elevate you to a level that will inspire others. It doesn't matter what level you currently consider yourself to be at, there is always room for growth. Just like any journey, this book contains steps. The first step, self-discovery. The knowledge to empower your life forever will do just that. Everyone I have come in contact with has shown interest in self-discovery, but has said that they wouldn't know where to start. This step is the most crucial in forming a lasting understanding of yourself and enhancing the ability to create change in an instant. The second step, energy. That fundamental force explains how to properly use that vast energy within your being. We all know that the more energy we direct towards something, the faster it happens. Most people expend all their energy on things that are actually destroying their life rather than enriching it. This is the ultimate guide to distinguish between the two and provide the knowledge that will raise your awareness forever. The third step. The system of achievement is the groundwork of everything you set out to achieve. I would never include anything in this book that I did not myself practice and use with my clients, and that did not have a basis in the practices used by the greatest in history. The detailed strategy in this section will give you the arsenal to excel. It will show you in a step-by-step process how to overcome any challenge in business, help you find what you are passionate about, and create the clarity and emotional charge that is needed to succeed. The fourth step, steer your relationships, will show you how to take immediate control of your relationship situation. Is your ship sailing smoothly or rockily, or is it yet to set sail? Whether you are currently struggling in your relationship and want to let go or striving to enhance it, this is your guide. It has also been designed for those who have been looking for their dream partner, but are unsure how to attract him or her. The fifth step, create a healthy physical existence, gives you the mindset and strategy to take charge of your health. We can all agree that our health is definitely one of the most important things in life. If it isn't to you, then you probably need to read this section more than anyone. Without a healthy body, your life is not successful, period. I'm qualified in personal training and have used my knowledge from previous clients to show the most effective ways to attain that body you want, but more important, the sense of feeling great about yourself. There is also detailed information about how the mind affects your body in every way imaginable. The sixth step, awaken your mind, unchain your heart, supports the magnitude of being consciously awakened, self-aware, and enlightened to the world around you. This journey through your emotional state will scientifically and morally prove how we are all one in essence. It looks at how your actions affect not only your own life, but the world at large. Walk with me as I go on my spiritual journey through Thailand to meet and stay with one of the most respected monks in the country. This step takes you through the vast influence we have on youth, from our children, nephews, and nieces, to the kid on the street. Nothing drives you more than being awakened to your role in this world. The seventh step, find fulfillment. A real success is the ultimate advantage one can have. No life is successful without fulfillment. Do not be mistaken. A great achiever is not always fulfilled. True success is fulfillment. Find out what makes us truly happy and knock down the social myth that has influenced our heart to believe that happiness is synthetic. That system has failed many throughout history, so don't allow yourself to be fooled any longer. True fulfillment does exist. That said, it would be absurd to attempt to minimize the enormity of the life-changing content in this book. I don't want any aspect of this journey to be tainted by an introduction that attempts to sum its power up in a few paragraphs. While this is a fun and interactive read, it does not sugarcoat anything. It is real, raw, and direct in its approach. It has the potential to bring out the absolute greatest qualities you have always had within you. Be ready to be intrigued, fascinated, and amazed. Not by this book, but by your own power. Man's mind, stretched by a new idea, never goes back to its old dimensions. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. It's not what you own in this world. It's what legacy you leave behind that matters. Say to yourself, I declare that I must master my life in every area. I will no longer settle for a life that is less than what I know I deserve. I have had enough experience to know one side of life, and now it's my time to shine. I will commit myself to enrich the quality of my life from what it is now. I will persist under any circumstance to act upon the tasks in this book, which are going to empower me forever. I will not leave any task undone. I will relentlessly work to empower my life and push beyond my known limits. I am responsible for shaping my destiny, and I trust my ability to see this book through. I understand that the only way to real success is by having a great state of mind, and I'm willing to work vigorously to create and enhance it. I am ready to live my life in the never-ending cycle of self-growth and use the unlimited power within my being. I am ready to attain a burning desire, compelling visions, and a passion for life that rises above all else. Absolute power of questioning. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Great questions, great answers. Regardless of your age, if you are breathing, then you are always ready for change. It might be in a relationship, a career, an old habit, an anger issue, or something that is really affecting your life. I want you to choose an issue and ask yourself, everything I have come to know in the last 18, 22, 45, or even 65 years, what impact has it had in this particular area of my life? Am I happy where I am? Have I attained fulfillment? Do I feel lost and confused? Now think back to how many times you have asked yourself those same questions. Do you see a pattern in your previous answers and your current ones? Unfortunately, most continue on a circular train track their whole life and are never able to implement real change. First, they don't build a belief in change, instead reminding themselves of why they think they can't change. And second, some people just don't know how to approach it. We are always gathering knowledge in life, but learning requires rapid action. You could watch someone change a car tire 20 times over, but unless you get down and do it, your knowledge is never tested, and you never learn. It seems a lot of us believe we are taking appropriate action, yet still feel as if we have failed. This is why we must direct that energy in a way that is going to be effective and implement lasting change. A lot of us have absorbed a lesson that if we change, then we are not being true to ourselves. Even our friends will have a dig at us and say things like, "You've changed," in a hurtful tone. This stance overlooks two truths. Change is extremely powerful, and more important, it's inevitable. Nothing remains the same. Every new moment, you are a new person, even physically. Not one single cell in your body has remained the same since you were born. This means we are always becoming. But what you are becoming depends on you. The challenge is that most people aren't becoming what they want. Something must change in order to grow, right? Whether it is financially, physically, emotionally, or mentally, the same rule applies. Proper questioning is the basis for directing change toward our immediate growth. It allows us to broaden the way we think and stop being narrow-minded, dismissing the false belief that there is only one option. Maybe you're asking yourself questions, but they're disempowering ones, and they're creating the same experiences. Stay away from such questions. When you change the way you think, you change the way you feel. When you change the way you feel, you change the way you act. When you change the way you act, you change your life. It starts by changing the way you... An unquestioned mind is the world of suffering. We need to ask questions that spur growth and prevent us from feeling as if we are insignificant and worthless. It's very important to ask and reflect on the question, "Who am I?" before anything else. This may seem a daunting question at first. However, probing deeper will unravel the truth. Not fully acknowledging the answer may cloud what you really want and deter you from ever experiencing greatness in life. Ask what type of person you are deep down, regardless of decisions you have made in the past. A few times in my life I've had people ask me, "Who are you?" But it wasn't until I came to peace with the answer myself that I answered it with certainty. Here are some questions that you can ask yourself to begin the process of self-reflection. These are questions I asked myself, but remember that everyone has moments when they fail to express their true character. For example, don't fixate on one time when you were mean and selfish if you know you're a loving person deep down. Take a few seconds to think as you go through each question. After going through those questions, did your mind automatically begin to remind you of times that you weren't that person? If that was the case, it's because your mind is still conditioned to looking at experiences, and especially yourself, in the worst possible way. If you are human, then I'm sure there have been times in your life when these positive attributes haven't been displayed. I'm definitely guilty of that. But it doesn't alter the fact that you are not that person deep down. Realistically, if you were doomed by every choice you made in life, you wouldn't even be this right now. So don't deliberately remember the times you fell short. Be intelligent and focus on the times you did display these qualities. Now, run through the questions again, but in addition ask this. When was a time that I did display this quality? After you do, come back and read on. The more you focus on being that great person, the more invigorated and energetic you feel. Did you feel proud of yourself when you went back to that moment? How did it compare with focusing on not being that person? Reminding yourself of these essential values to gain fulfillment will give you incentive to use them more often. If you truly don't think you are that great person, ask yourself, "How can I be?" And you will instantly be flooded with ideas. Further to that, if you don't want to be that great person, then unfortunately, that's the reason you are unfulfilled in the first place, never experiencing the true essence of life. In my opinion, that is a very sad life to live, and one I wouldn't accept for all the money in the world. The challenge isn't knowing who you are as a person, it's having the courage to act like the person you are. It seems that we are almost separated into two parts. One part is the me, and the other is the I. The me is all the social tags we adopt. For example, it is my duty to be a friend, a son, a brother, an author, and so on. It so happens that I am all these things, But weirdly enough, when I'm all alone and away from these duties, I find myself not being any of them. That's when I finally discover that the I is who I really am. It's those qualities within me, that diversity and ability to be everything and at times nothing. There are also times when you'll feel alienated from the world, and that's because people won't always understand the I, but they don't have to. You do. It's not until you are aligned with who you really are as a person, not who society brands you, that you will be eternally happy and live passionately every moment. I've experienced this personally. The outside pressure to be something in particular, to choose an identity and stick to it, created an expectation of myself that only made me feel worse. Every time I was sad, I was disappointed in myself because I thought I had to be happy. When I was weak, I thought I always had to be strong. When vulnerable, always secure. I had to finally accept that I'm human, and that it's okay to be different at different stages of my life. To feel differently, to think differently, to act differently. But the greatest thing I realized about being who I was is that I am human. And being human, I have these amazing qualities within me, at my disposal. That's what I built on, knowing that my great qualities could shape my life just as much as my bad ones that I used to focus so much on. I invite you to do the next task, which is life transforming. 1. Take 5 minutes and really reflect on those am I questions. Make sure you don't rob yourself of this opportunity. These are life-changing exercises. Write these down. Do not go on to task 2 until you have completed this one. You now swap the am and the I around. It should now read I am, followed by the quality. Write them down. 3. Next, take another few minutes and reflect on the new list you have written down. Close your eyes and repeat them in your mind, or say them out loud. Just make sure all your focus is on those qualities that have the power to change your life. It's usually not being sure of who we are that causes so much confusion when it's time to make a big decision. This creates clarity. If you're in a public place and you don't really want to scream how great you are, I suggest you do it in your mind for now. And don't forget to focus on how you feel when you read each I am statement. FFF, full focus on feeling. I don't even need to know you to know that you're a big softy deep down. By reaffirming those statements, you align yourself with who you really are. It's a very important key to finding happiness or success at any level. If completed correctly, that exercise is invigorating and fulfilling. See how easy it is to fill ourselves up once we focus all our energy on the qualities of life. That exercise can be done for any issue that you are facing to gain a clear consciousness, and I highly advise you do it on a daily basis for a while, especially when you wake up. I would never suggest something here that I don't personally do or use for others. I have used this on some of the most successful and fulfilled people I know, and it adds massive value to their life. The qualities mentioned above are just some examples. I'm sure you can think of more. You must start with I am, followed by a quality. Now that you covered some qualities that reflect who you really are, it allows you to properly assess decisions you make on a constant basis. I've also come to the conclusion that all human beings have the same true essence, regardless of religious background, social status, or past decisions. I have spoken to people from all walks of life, even some hardened criminals, and never had anyone refuse after enough probing to finally admit that they are all those great qualities deep down. We are human, and such qualities have been in us since birth. That's why babies bring so much joy to the people around them, like when you go to someone's house and everyone runs up to the baby. We nearly get into arguments over who's going to hold it first. It's amazing, and that's because babies just are who they are, pure love. They have not been restricted by social myth, and ego has yet to take control over their life. You must understand that your truth will never go away, and will always be there to correct you when you feel otherwise. It is also accessible for growth and learning. Hence, we can relate who we really are to any situation and any decision. I must ask you this question. Are you really being who you know you are? Nearly everyone I've asked has become defensive and answered with, "Of course I am." In my own experience, most times we are acting how we think we have to, not the way we truly want to. We think about what others are thinking about us. What are they going to think when I do this? What are they looking at? What makes them laugh? How do I have to be to fit in? What can I do to impress them? We have thoughts like, oh my God, they are all looking at me. Straighten up. No, don't look down. Look up. Look cool. And so on. We do this when we walk down the street, go for a run, visit the beach, or socialize. It's usually a subconscious reaction because we have repeated it throughout our life. If you say that you don't care about what others think or the effect they have on your life, that is an outright lie. If you didn't care what others thought, you would be walking around the streets naked. And I know I'm not alone with drifting off at some points and wondering what my funeral would be like. Come on, tell me that hasn't crossed your mind. What would people say about me? Would they cry? Would I be missed? How would they remember me? It's human nature to care what other people think. It's obvious that people are going to remember whatever legacy we leave behind. In order to leave a legacy, we must be our legacy now. The greatest legacy we can live and leave behind is to be who we really are. Doing this allows your true destiny to be displayed. If you don't know who you are, how can you make yourself happy? So are we being who we really are, or who we feel we have to be? It's a fine line, but with a bit of thought you will be able to distinguish between the two. Finding this distinction allows progress to soar. People will remember who you are, not what you have. Other important questions should arise about decisions you are making in life. You must be able to identify other options in order to change an old habit. Asking questions, then more probing questions, until you reach an answer that is beneficial is the key. Do not just stop at one, but ask yourself as many as you have to. In the beginning of my change, I began questioning everything about my life. I remember my friend asked me once if I was lost, because I was walking around the house in a daze. I said, I'm actually finding answers, which is the opposite of being lost. Initially, you might feel a bit uncomfortable with some answers, because your ego tries to stand in the way of getting the real truth out. Ask as many questions as you have to. You must remain strong throughout the process, and you can do this by weighing up your answers, your new beliefs, compared with the old lies. It even reaches a point where you should be so disgusted with your old ways that it turns into good frustration. Physically scream at yourself in the mirror if you feel the urge. I would personally repeat again and again, that life is destroying you. You're not going back under any circumstances. Do you understand? Yes. Then I would repeat, you're living a better life, you're living a better life, and so forth. Something I highly recommend if you find yourself battling the old habit. Say it with as much power as you can, so it feels like you just got a baseball bat and hit those old beliefs out of the park. Also, feel free to tell people about your change. I remember the day I stopped smoking, I went and told as many people as I possibly could. I made myself feel extreme pleasure and pride every time I did. I knew that if I began the habit again, everyone would consider me weak. But more important, I would consider myself weak. I reinforced the belief that if I started smoking again, I would not be successful in life. And every time it came to mind, I began to imagine the chemicals eating away at my body. As a result, the thought would make me nearly physically throw up. It sounds extreme, but when you think of the extreme effects smoking has on your health, it sounds like a pretty good substitute. The question is, how much do you want change? If I told you that you could change the direction of your life so that it would be more fulfilling right now, would you? If the answer is yes, then you acknowledge that there are areas of your life that you feel you are personally destroying. No one really wants to destroy their own life. Even though they might be doing just that doesn't mean it's what they want. Am I attracting what I want? When most people question, they don't go deep enough. They deliberately ignore the answers that will serve them. We are ready to move on to our next set of questions, which will enable us to clearly see what we want. We need to ask questions that will criticize our thinking patterns and the self-beliefs we have continually built, so we can come up with a strategic plan to implement life-changing replacements. If we don't question, we don't get answers, and hence, we will not get what we want. Don't ask how life is treating you. Ask how you are treating life. This shift allows you to see that you are not the victim of an unloved destiny, but equally, the creator. You must think of where you are today and say whether who you really are balances out with what situations you are in. Then you must take sole accountability for all your actions that have caused you to be in this situation, as no one thinks, speaks, or ultimately makes decisions for you. The more we blame our situations on others and external events, the more we remove ourselves from ever experiencing the change we so desperately desire. Once we take responsibility, we are able to determine an action plan to obtain what we really want. Think how it feels as a passenger in a car. You may be on the highway, the car is speeding around bends, and all of a sudden you begin to feel a lack of control. The driver doesn't know what you're scared of, because to them they are driving normally. When you live in excuses, it seems as though everyone and everything else is in control of your life. When you feel that you are not in control, you experience fear. If you are not in the cycle of self-growth, then you are taking part in self-destruction. Taking accountability means owning your life and asking, what can I do differently? You must question everything about your life. Massive change comes through deep questioning, so you must refuse to stop asking until an answer aligns with your truth. When you are unsure about something or feeling stressed and worried, you should question until you get to its core. It's okay to take advice from those who clearly demonstrate an ability to have a positive effect on your life, but don't only believe what everyone else has to say. Many friends and family will feed your victimization because they love you. You ultimately know what is best for you, and you can't escape it. Once you take care of you, everyone else reaps the benefits as well. It takes one moment to change your course of direction, one decision that makes you step up to the greatness you deserve, and only one life to make it happen. Never give up on what you truly desire. If you don't think you really have a clear indication of what the answers are, think harder and implement some now. You must be specific. For the first question, examples would be wanting to give your children the best life you possibly can, wanting to be the best person you know how to be, having that feeling of being in charge of your life, contributing to others, having that feeling of success, feeling healthy and fit, holding up that trophy, and many more. Those feelings must drive you because emotion precedes action. If you refer back to those feelings, you will soon get a whole different range of emotions on which to base your decisions. All successful people dedicate their life to finding solutions. This one question allows for responses that will benefit your current situation rather than asking, "Why can't I?" A question that continually reaffirms to yourself that you can't create the life you desire. "How can I?" forces you to come up with answers that will drive you. Let's now take a step into the zone that most of us find ourselves in, especially after a deep process of questioning. Being able to shift our mindset in a heartbeat when in this zone is essential for creating a life worth dreaming about. Uncomfortable in the comfort zone. Are you really comfortable where you are in life, or are you just settling because you don't believe you can get anything better? Most people I have met try to display that they are comfortable, yet once they really open up, it seems there are many things that they wish they could achieve or attain. It's then evident that they are quite uncomfortable. Every time someone asked me how I was, I would reply with the words, "not bad," or "okay." It wasn't until I had the feeling of being great that I realized that a not bad life just isn't good enough. Life is made up of decisions we make, and accepting a not bad or even okay life is the case for most. People rarely admit when they aren't doing too well and believe that they can take cover behind lying to others and themselves. There is one fact you have to acknowledge. You can't run and hide from yourself because everywhere you go, there you are. The harsh reality is that most people aren't truly happy with where they are in life. They submit to beliefs that have made them feel that whatever they are is the most they can be, and they accept a life that never fulfills them. It's quite upsetting because I know that exact feeling, and I also know how it feels to be on the other side. This is one of the main reasons for dedicating my life to sharing this message. The first thing I would say is that facing it, rather than running, is the first step toward change. The questions we asked in the last chapter are a great start. They all lead us to a point of acknowledgement. We seem to be blind to the powerful part of that word, acknowledgement. We can have all the knowledge in the world, have 10 university degrees, have traveled the globe, or know how to speak 5 different languages. But if we don't have true knowledge of ourselves, we will never create the life we want. Coming to realizations about where you are in life due to past events, decisions you are making now, and how it can affect what you create next is the greatest knowledge you can obtain. It allows you to truly come to the understanding that your life has always been controlled by you. Taking accountability for the state you find yourself in will allow you to make the changes needed to drive your life to a new level. Does making mistakes along the way mean you are back to where you started? The intelligent answer is no, but many people fall into the trap of giving up when they've made a mistake. So why do so many people become disheartened on their journey to create an extraordinary life? They rarely look at the progress they've made, but will always notice what's wrong. As you progress through your self-discovery, you will realize that rather than only seeing some beliefs and decisions as wrong, they actually promote massive progress. Your beliefs advance from one another and assist one another in growing. They all have purpose. No matter how badly you think you screwed something up, you can't change it, but you can learn from it. And if you're judging yourself for doing something wrong, then logically you're acknowledging that you can do it differently next time. You're learning to reason with yourself and becoming more self-aware. The more you ignore and disregard your ability to reason with yourself, the more energy you're putting toward a life you don't want to live. It's up to you to learn along the journey, and that's what we're all on, a journey of self-growth. No one is going to just come along and drop fulfillment into your lap. If that were the case, the great life would be a lot easier to achieve. Setbacks are still steps forward on your journey if you look hard enough. They have an important role to play. In order for you to see your actions as negative, you must be able to identify the flip side. You can take action to get back on the right path and don't have to submit to the belief that it's just the way it is. This awareness will allow you to put a strategy in place to eliminate negative thoughts that are continually having a detrimental effect in your life. Another way of looking at negativity is that it reminds you that you are making progress. Most people surrender to negative perceptions subconsciously, but by being consciously aware that a thought is negative, you are becoming more emotionally intelligent. You are using your mind to distinguish and correct rather than just accept. Instead of beating yourself up over thinking or acting negatively, view these experiences as a chance to learn and implement change. The logic and unlogic. You've heard it all before, the logical and illogical sides of the brain. Becoming aware of and able to compare the two is your greatest asset to strengthen your success. You should use the logical side of your brain as your defense mechanism against those decisions that are leading you toward feelings that don't really fulfill you. It will prevent you from being in situations where you question the same thing 100 times over, even though you are already aware of the answer that is beneficial. You will recognize in time that it will be hard not to make a decision without assessing it and finding answers that spur growth. Choosing your true side of logic will become quite natural. We make ourselves believe we have no control over the way we feel or what decisions we make, quick to throw the blame on someone or something else. We will blame it all on people around us, certain situations, or even drugs. Are they really the challenge, or is it just that you are unaware that you have always been in full control of your own emotional state? We choose to let people and situations take our happiness. We willingly submit and hand it over to them. Realistically, a situation just is, which means it's up for whatever you wish to attach to it. That's why so many people can have completely different views on exactly the same situation. We must look at it intelligently and let our initial knee-jerk reaction and common sense be good guides. We know the truth immediately, yet sometimes we are good at talking ourselves out of it. The control has always been there for your life. Sometimes you just choose not to use it. Differentiate between right and wrong, negative and positive, and the logical and illogical, and then use it to your benefit. In order to grow, you must take action based on your knowledge. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. We have all reached points in life where it felt as if there was nowhere to turn. Some of us have even hit points where our whole life, not just one aspect, is distorted. It then seems as if we are truly lost on this journey we call life. It's a feeling of hopelessness, of desperation, and of no sense of direction. If you are at this point in your life in one or all areas, I would like to explain that you are actually at a great spot. Yes, that's right, a great spot. I know you're probably swearing at the book and thinking I'm a madman, but just hear this out. You are on a journey and you have been walking for days. Along the way, you have felt a sense of unfamiliarity, yet you have continued to walk anyway. You're walking along singing and all of a sudden you stop. It hits you. You finally realize that you have been traveling a different path than you meant to this whole time. A point of awareness has just shown itself. Thoughts start rushing through your mind, questions begin to appear, and panic takes over your emotional state. Then you snap out of it and recognize that you'd better pull yourself together. If you don't think about your previous steps as a means to gather knowledge to get back on track, then you will sit there paralyzed by your thoughts and die of thirst. At this point, you are actually in a good place, because if you never had that feeling of being lost, who knows where you would have ended up. Even when you look back at those previous steps, you stop cursing yourself for taking them, because you know it's just making things worse. You are now going to start using the information you obtained from those past steps to help yourself back on your intended path. And more important, to arrive at that desired destination. When one door closes, another opens, but we often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we do not see the one which has opened for us. When you feel like you are declining in life, it may just be the complete opposite. You have actually advanced to a stage where you recognize how you must change in order to grow. Most people in society call a point of awareness rock bottom. I refrain from using that metaphor because to me it is false. I believe you have actually gone up at these points, because without them you wouldn't make the crucial decisions that change your life forever. It's as if you have prevented yourself from going deeper into your confusion and pain. Often the most valuable information can be gathered from times that seem the most hopeless or distressing. I guess it's some greater force telling us that we need to wake up. A point of awareness forces you to reassess every step you took. And if you learn from this experience, it also reminds you to carefully assess future steps that are taken. Why is it that people usually find true direction in life at a time that seems the most confusing? My opinion is that when all roads seem to be blocked, there is only one way, and that is through. The certainty of appreciation. There was once a man who was complaining about only having one pair of shoes until he met a man with only one leg. Don't hate, appreciate. It doesn't matter what situation you are in, consciously summoning deep gratitude will enhance the quality of your life. We get so caught up with things that we want, experiences we have had, the hustle and bustle of working life, raising children, or getting our finances on track that we neglect to be grateful for what we have. How can we ever be happy if we are not content with who we are and appreciative of the only thing that is ever real right now? I mean, even if we go and make $1 million and then want another million, then another, we are still at that point of emptiness and unfulfillment. It's the same story with every area of our life. If we don't take a moment to really appreciate the most important things, then we are never going to be happy. It's not wrong to keep wanting. We are human after all. But we can't forget the feeling that fulfills us, gratitude. The day I realized I had been leaving it out, I came up with an adage that I now repeat every morning. A wise man never dwells on what he doesn't have. He remains in constant appreciation of what he has already, while being in pursuit of what he wants. It's the same with everything. If we don't use it, we lose it. The challenge is that most don't remind themselves how to love life, so they forget. Instead, they continually practice how to hate it, so they get damn good at that. Time is our most precious commodity. If you're not using it wisely, you're wasting it ignorantly. The only thing that can ever fulfill us is gratitude, acknowledging the beauty of what we have and who we really are. When I ask people what they think the most important things are in life, I usually hear the same answers. Family, friends, faith, and even being alive all make the top of the list. Would you agree? The most important things in life deserve nothing less than constant reminders. Then why don't we remind ourselves? If we do not make a daily conscious effort to recognize these things, the truth is, we will search around in the dark looking for a happiness that has been with us our whole life. Ignoring what you already have is the major factor I see in unhappiness. I urge you to ask and answer this question with sincerity. In your life, what means the most to you? Write a list. Whatever makes the list is a priority, so treat it that way, and make reading the list a part of your daily routine. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Appreciation is truly the ultimate feeling, as it is the only thing that knocks down the body of ego. How many times have you wanted to tell someone whom you really love how much you appreciate everything they have ever done for you? I bet you've wanted to express your appreciation far more often than you have done it. The reason is our body of ego stands in the way. This one guy taunted me, saying he didn't have a body of ego, and I replied that he had just demonstrated it. We all have it. If we didn't, we wouldn't be human. We so often feel that great love and just wish we knew how to share it without being embarrassed. When you are in a state of appreciation, it really trains you to express that love, which means you in turn receive it. The feeling, invisible to our eyes, is euphoric. It is feeling, and feeling is power. This simple quality of life is also crucial for success. It allows us to utilize our time efficiently and recognize every step we take. We are grateful for the time we have now, so it prevents us from just waiting around and procrastinating. We take full responsibility for our actions in the present, which allows us to really embrace our decisions as an opportunity for growth. More important, we begin to praise ourselves for who we really are, and it builds the faith and respect within us to be in pursuit of what we want. It aligns us with our friend fear, and it promotes us to work to our peak with a broadened mind. It truly helps us enjoy the process of success because we go in with the attitude of nothing to lose, everything to gain. Courage soon follows. For most, there are barriers that restrict them from discovering their slumbering power. Appreciation helps break down those psychological and emotional walls. It allows you to be more vibrant, loving, and happy, all those other qualities that are crucial for a successful life. If you begin to love life, you embrace it for the beauty and mystery it is, and that's what creates empowering energy. Appreciation is the key to letting your spirit take over your life. By adding such a simple ritual to your daily life, you will create a world of difference. Success without appreciation is no success at all. Appreciation is a wonderful thing. It makes what is excellent in others belong to us as well. State of appreciation. To get up each morning with the resolve to be happy is to set our own conditions to the events of each day. To do this is to condition circumstances instead of being conditioned by them. You can only imagine what a difference it will make every day to go through a list of things that you appreciate in the morning. Most wake up in the morning complaining, feet dragging halfway across the room. They have 2 coffees and still seem to be tired. I used to sulk so much in the morning that at times I came to tears. I once had someone say to me, "The reason I complain all the time is because crap keeps happening in my life." I turned to him and said, "The truth is, the reason crap keeps happening in your life is because you don't stop complaining." When we complain, we become the victim. When we are the victim, we don't get what we want in life. We get more of what we don't want. The energy that you carry from that dismal beginning will surely lead to you having a miserable day. In all honesty, how do you think the day is going to turn out? What hope are you giving it to improve, and what incentive is there for life to give back if you disrespect it before you have even started your day? In order to make your day fulfilling, it is imperative that you begin by shifting your focus to the great things in life. If you do this for a few days, giving up the practice of appreciation will not be an option, because the results are just too outstanding. You should also try to maintain that mood as much as you can, but even after a week or so, you will see that mood starting to become your nature. If you appreciate things, people around you will pick up that attitude as well. But to start, I'm asking you to allocate time first thing in the morning to get into a state, because that's what conditions you. When you appreciate something, you don't abuse it. Learn to appreciate all that's life. How many people do you know who have taken medication for anxiety and intense nerves, but still have the same troubles? They pop those pills for years to no avail, but amazingly, what I have seen from my own experience is that as soon as people become aware of their ability to recondition their own state, they are able to heal themselves. Branding an emotional or mental state separates you from having full control over it. And by continuing to tell people that you have depression, you will never be able to take control over your life. I'm not saying that some people aren't suffering from mental illness, but I like to keep the faith that many of us can overcome difficult emotional or mental states with the right tools, not by taking a pill every time we feel sad. We can continue to suppress issues with a pill, but that's exactly what it does. Suppress. True healing means you must get to the source, and that is within. It's all about healing, not suppression. Branding an emotional or mental state separates you from having full control over it. And by continuing to tell people that you have depression, you will never be able to take control over your life. I'm not saying that some people aren't suffering from mental illness, but I like to keep the faith that many of us can overcome difficult emotional or mental states with the right tools, not by taking a pill every time we feel sad. We can continue to suppress issues with a pill, but that's exactly what it does. Suppress. True healing means you must get to the source, and that is within. It's all about healing, not suppression. Your time to shine is going to determine how your destiny is shaped. It is to be done in the morning, preferably for an hour. If you say you don't have the time, I have a great solution. Wake up earlier. An hour ritual consists of getting into an SOA, state of appreciation, as well as creating perfect scenarios in your mind of what you want your life to be, state of certainty. You must set up an attitude that will last through the whole day. If you won't spare an hour to vastly improve the quality of your life, then at least create half that time. Even 15 minutes if you must, but I know you can create more time if you are committed to it. Here's an example of my personal ritual for getting into a state of appreciation. After that, you'll move on to creating your own. Always begin by saying, "Thank you for being alive." Also end with repeating, "Right now I'm alive," with absolute conviction until you feel pumped. This task in the morning is conditioning yourself to change your state in an instant. A must if you want an extraordinary life. In order to be abundantly happy, you must learn to ignite your own empowering emotions. It is important that you feel the significance of what you are appreciating and totally embrace it. Feel those qualities within you, the house that shelters you, or the hug from your loved one. FFF, full focus on feeling, raises hidden and fulfilling emotions, which is the key to this exercise. This only takes around 5 to 10 minutes to read while stationary, so if you say you don't have the time to read it, are you really being true to yourself? The rest of your time to shine can be done while getting ready. If you don't have enough time, stop watching so much TV. By continually practicing this exercise alone and making it a ritual before starting your day, your life will be enhanced radically. Think of the difference when starting off your day with this, rather than hating the world for having to wake up. Demanding a fulfilling state also allows you to prove to yourself that you choose your own emotions. Allocating this time to shine will condition your nervous system to experience fulfillment on a regular basis. You now have enough information to go out on your own for 3 consecutive days and practice these tasks. It's part of the program in this book, so if you don't do it, then you should really consider passing the book on to someone else. We have all been given the keys to life. Some just refuse to open the doors. I know you are reading this book to make real change in your life, so please give yourself this opportunity. Really successful people do what everyone else brands as stupid, which is why they are so different. You are to write your SOA list in the order that was given, read it for the next 3 mornings, and practice maintaining that mood during the day. This is it, discovering the balance between fulfillment and the drive to achieve. Remember, the change starts with you. Once that begins to happen, everything else starts to change with it. Those 3 days before reading on are a must. And if you really want a powerful start to your day, write this on a big piece of paper or somewhere that is highly visible in the morning. Whatever I do today, I will commit to doing it with love and in happiness. As challenging as it may be, I will not allow anything to overpower my great emotions, and I will get through it. Only those few who take action get the results that everyone else dreams about. Stop, go back. You are not to read on until this task is completed. These tasks are designed to properly train your mind and ease you into the process as everyone else, who gained abundance in their life has done. Not reading on just yet is also a great test of patience, a quality that is necessary to achieve what you set out for. Take action on this, or else you learn nothing. Appreciate on a daily basis and create that time to shine.